Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast. Have you ever heard of the phrase, nurses eat their young? Feeding Our Young is more than a podcast. It's a movement. It's a desire to see new nurses of all ages be supported and uplifted by their peers. And it starts with me. It starts with you. So join the host, Eric Miller, registered nurse of nearly 20 years and adjunct clinical instructor, and today's honored guest, me, Allie Rader, and be ready to have your life uplifted so you can, in turn, uplift others. Welcome to the Feeding Our Young podcast.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Feeding Our Young podcast, which is really part 2 of what I am now affectionately calling Allie Week here in studio, because unbeknownst to this Allie, I sat down with an Allie a few days ago. And so today was the second of the 2 Allie schedules in the same week, which is just crazy to me that these little serendipitous things happen. But I'm so excited. I'm going to stop talking because I cannot wait for you to meet the one that we all love and know at work as Allie the Pirate, Allie Rader. Allie, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm great.
Awesome. I am so glad you're willing to do this, and I've kind of let the cat out of the bag. Yes, Allie and I are co-workers, and she so graciously said, yeah, let's do this thing. So let's get to know a little bit more about you, my friend. I guess before we really introduce yourself, since we've kind of introduced you, why are you known as Allie the Pirate? I'm so confused.
Well, when I first started working on Mom Baby, there were 2 Allies. And so it was, I'm Allie Rader, so Allie R. And R is, of course, what a pirate says. And I happen to have one of my front teeth is a veneer because my brother threw a squirt gun at me and broke it. And so I have a couple of pictures of when the veneer fell off, and it's a tiny nub, and I look like a pirate.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I knew the first part of this story. I didn't know the second one. So this is all fantastic.
It just all, and like a raider is like a pirate. They raid things. So it just all snowballed. And then a few of the ladies just took it and run with it. So
I feel like,
and it could
did that originate with one Jamie Michaels?
Yes, Jamie Michaels.
We're gonna name drop her here. Also affectionately known as GJ. Everybody has their own nicknames. She is GJ, also known as Geriatric Jamie. We're not making fun of her. She made that name for herself. But
she did. She's a queen.
She is. But enough about her. We're not talking about her anymore. It's about you. So, Allie, what degrees do you hold? When and where did you get them?
I have my BSN, and I got them from WSU. Go Cougs, baby.
Go Cougs!
And I graduated in December of 2022. So it's been like 3 years now, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Almost 4, really. I mean, right? It's 2026.
I know, with the year, but it was December. So it's like closer to 3 than 4, but I'll take it.
I love it. But it's still amazing to me because like we all work together and all the things. And like in my mind, I don't see Allie as a 3-year only. I don't even like to use the word only, but only a 3-year nurse. Like you carry yourself with much more wisdom and grace than someone who is relatively new to the job. I don't know. Is that a way to say that? So where is home for you, Allie? Where do you come from? Where do you live? What is home for you?
I am from Wenatchee, Washington, which is central Washington, and it's just the best little piece of, it's the best part of Washington, I think, but I'm currently in Spokane, and I'm growing to love it as well. I live with another one of our coworkers, and it's just been the sweetest thing. We're up on the South Hill, and it's just a little slice of heaven up here. It's the best.
And she's not joking, you guys. Like, we've asked them, like, there's got to be bad days. There's got to be things where you get, like, no, they just do everything together. I feel like you guys are like a built-in, not a sitcom for funny purposes, but just, you get along. Life is good.
Yeah, it's the best. We, have all the same interests. We just giggle and walk and hang out with dogs and cook yummy food. It's the dream life.
I love it. The perfect roommate. Well, I
Exactly.
normally this is a question for the getting to know you bit in the middle, but since you're already kind of leading there, what do you love most about your hometown?
There's so many things. I feel like Wenatchee is the perfect size. It's a small town, but not too small where you know everyone's business, but there's good community and it feels really safe. And it has that, small town charm. We have this festival in the spring and it's called Apple Blossom. And it's just when all the apple trees are blooming and it's just the most beautiful time. All the hills around the valley are green and we have parades and a little food fair, and everyone's just out and about, listening to music in the park, dancing. It's just the best. It's dreamy.
You're making me want to go to Wenatchee. This is
You should
amazing.
go to Wenatchee. Everyone
Uh,
should go to Wenatchee.
so there it is, everybody. There's the plug for Wenatchee, Wenatchee Chamber of
Yeah.
Commerce. You're welcome. This is how we roll.
Yes, I should get a commission.
100% as the Wenatchee representative,
I'll be the poster child.
the Wenatchee poster child.
Yes.
I love it. Well, before we get to know more about the Wenatchee poster child, what are the three words, Allie, that you chose to describe nursing school?
I said foreign, challenging, and fun.
Ooh, I like that first one. Haven't heard that one. And then what are three of your favorite songs in life right now?
I love the song Blue Honey by Lunar Vacation. It's the best when the sun's out and the windows are down. I also love There's the Sun by Zach Top because I'm a country girl through and through. And then another one that I've been loving is, well, I've been loving Billy Ocean, a little throwback, but I love
Nice.
Love Really Hurts Without You. It just gets me grooving.
I love it. And I love that you refer to Billy Ocean as throwback. So
I
I'm
mean,
glad.
mini throwback for me.
I'm like, man, I'm glad I put my dentures in this morning. This is fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
All right, my friend. Well, let's get to know a little bit more about you. So, as a disclaimer for everyone out there, as you know, we have this fun little form that people can or cannot fill out, whatever they want. And every once in a while, I get people who will fill it out. Others won't fill it out at all. And there's this select group that are the in-between, and they'll send me the things they want me to ask them, and I have no clue what they're going to respond with. So I get to learn about Allie alongside everybody else because I have the
Yay.
questions she wanted me to ask, and I don't know where she's going with them. So, in no particular order, my friend, a little more icebreaker questions for you. What is your
Yeah.
superpower?
I think that my superpower is finding positivity in hard situations and kind of like finding calm in the chaos a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like I can go through something hard and then I'll pick out little bits and be like, okay, this is good. Or like, it was like this for this reason. Because I feel like for my own personal mental health and everything, it just lifts me back up. Because if you just stay focused on the negative, it just spirals down. So I'm like, no, I need to find the good things and focus on those.
Yes, and that is what we love
Yeah.
about you. I can attest to this fact because I don't know. I'm sure you've had a bad day in your life at some point, but I have yet to see it myself.
Yeah, I don't like to show that to outer world. I like to try to present myself as positive, which I usually am.
I love it. I love it. Well, then, does that positivity carry over into your hobbies and interests? What is it that you're doing when you're not working?
Okay, well, I feel like I have so many hobbies these days. I feel like after graduating and, having my own career and having so many days off when other people are working, I'm like, okay, I got to tap into these hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
So I love and have always loved sports. I grew up playing soccer, so I still play a little co-ed soccer team outdoor, and then I play indoor soccer as well in the winter. Um, and I love to go for runs. I love to go to the gym, strength train, do Pilates, do yoga, kind of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm teaching a little exercise class at Union Gospel Mission here, which is super fun with these ladies. I also have picked up tennis in the last couple years, which has been super fun.
Oh
I
my
have like,
gosh.
yeah, it's super fun. My boyfriend and his mom play, and they gave me a racket, and so I just kind of started playing. And there was this really sweet little old man who walked up to me and was like, "Can I hit with you?" And I was like, "Sure." And so we started playing. And then every time I was out there, he would walk by and he'd come and hit with me. And now we're best friends. So shout out to Tom.
Shout out to Tom. We're name dropping
Yeah,
all
he's,
over the place.
I know, he's my Spokane tennis buddy and I love him. So that's sweet.
Oh.
I also have tapped into my creative side lately, like crafting, starting to sew. I just made my first shirt.
Oh my
I'm making
gosh.
yeah, love making little cards and just paper, everything. Paper chains, little garland for the holidays. Yeah, trying to read more, trying to do all the things.
It sounds like, I mean, like you're doing a lot of the things. That's what I
Yes.
love.
I mean, it's the beauty of not having kids yet and not really having any commitments. I'm like, okay, let's
Awesome.
try
And
all these things.
I'd say working less than full time, but we already know you pick up so many shifts. Like you are like
Yeah.
we were just saying that before you showed up yesterday, because she came in for a few hours yesterday, and before that everybody's like, yeah, like she just always gets lucky and gets called in, and we think she's close to full time, if not a little bit more now.
It is true. I am point 0.6, but I do make myself very known to our floor. I want to see the percentages of like how many times I'm called in because it feels like 80 or 90% truly,
Yeah, I can attest to that as
which
well.
is epic.
OMG. Oh my gosh. So you kind of briefly dropped the fact that you have a significant other. So that just leads us naturally into telling us about your family, your loved ones, the people in your
Yeah.
life.
Yes. So I have my parents, of course. They're the best. They're kind of why I got into nursing. They're both pharmacists. So I was always hearing about all the medical stuff kind of growing up. And then I have two older sisters who also happen to be nurses. So that also kind of trickled into why I became a nurse. Um, and then I have a little brother who's 21 and he's my little bestie and he's at WSU as well right now. So again, go Cougs, let's go.
Let's go.
Um, yeah. So that's my family. A lot of them are still in Wenatchee, and then my sister's over on the west side of Washington. And then, yeah, I have a boyfriend who I've been dating for 3 years now. His name's Wyatt. He's the best. He's an accountant. He currently lives in Portland, so it's been a little bit tricky, but hopefully we get to the same place soon. And then my loved ones, I just have so many friends and so many different places from so many parts of my life. So, of course,
Hmm.
my girl Andrea, all my coworkers, some of my besties from nursing school, and then my hometown best friends that I just adore. And I just saw actually on Monday because I went wedding dress shopping with one of my bestest friends, Greta. So,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
that's
I feel
incredible.
very, very lucky and very blessed to have so many sweet and amazing people in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
I don't like spending a lot of time with the fluff questions, but it's kind of fun because we get to know a little bit more about you. And you have
Yeah.
this other prompt here that I'm just going to ask before we dive into the nursing content, and that is that with
Yes.
all these people in your life, I'm assuming it lends to a bit of travel. There was something you wanted me to ask you. Have you
Yes.
traveled?
Oh, I have traveled. I have traveled. Growing up, I played soccer really competitively, and so I would travel to different states for soccer, like Florida, Texas, Utah, California, kind of all over. So that was super fun,
Very
just kind
cool.
of experiencing it in a different way. And then, yeah, I travel to Portland a lot. And I have a really good friend down in San Diego too, so I try to go see her
Nice.
while I can. It's a nice little escape, especially in the winter. And then this last September, I went to Italy for the first time, and it was amazing, and the food was delicious. And I went to Rome, and then I went to Sicily and hopped on this sailboat, which my best friend's like uncle is the captain of. And we sailed across the
Oh.
Mediterranean, and it was awesome. And then we just stopped at Sardinia, which is that little Italian island, and just ported every day at a different place. And then we went to Bonifacio, which is a city on Corsica, which is the French island. And it was just the most amazing experience ever. I'm like, how do I get back there? Like, it
Yeah.
was awesome.
Oh
Like, yeah,
my
life changing.
gosh.
Yeah.
It's those sentences that you know what I mean? Like, I can't say that about myself. I can't say I've sailed across the Mediterranean. Like,
I
that is
know.
just, you know what I mean? Like, that is such a
Yeah.
fun thing to be able to say in your life.
Yes,
Uh,
it's crazy. Once in a lifetime experience, I feel.
I love it 100%. And maybe, hopefully, as you've already described, maybe a two times in your life experience.
Yes.
At least. Well, let's bring it back to good old Washington State then. And
Yes.
let's dial it back a little bit because you just kind of touched on this in the opening part. But what led you to nursing? We got a little tidbit here and there, but give us a comprehensive picture. Why did you
Yeah.
join the nursing profession?
Yeah. So, like I kind of said, my parents had kind of always, little tidbits here and there throughout my life. So I just kind of had some medical jargon kind of sprinkled around. And I'm just like, I really thought I wanted to be an optometrist. And one day my mom's like, that would be cool, but just kind of think about and this was 2017 or something. She was talking about kind of how robots and technology are kind of taking over some fields. She's like, looking at someone's eyes could kind of easily be taken over by some form of technology. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's true. So then I was kind of thinking, I was like, I don't really want to be a doctor. And then I was talking to my sisters who were just kind of gonna start applying for nursing school. And I was like, I wonder if I would want to be a nurse. And so I kind of just picked their brain about what was going on and stuff. And I was really interested. And then at the same time, unfortunately, my grandma had an aortic aneurysm and was in the hospital and then passed away. But her nurses were just so kind and compassionate. And I was 18 and it was really the first loss in my life that I'd really experienced. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it was really scary and sad time. And the nurses just were so loving and calming. And I remember them placing their hands on us and just being there and just reassuring that my grandma would be comfortable and all the things like that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so important. So then I was like, okay, yeah, I want to be a nurse because I really do love people and I do really want to help people. And I feel like it's the perfect combination of helping people in like their hardest, most difficult stages of life, and also like being able to pour love into them and like the love of Jesus onto them and just like be with them, which is awesome.
Oh, I love that. And so then let me ask you this, because you're talking about being with people in their most difficult times, but as is already established, we both work postpartum, where happiness is the general rule. So I have to know, like, what led you to that specialty then?
Yeah. So in nursing school, I did my clinical rotations and I did them at Holy Family. So it was labor and delivery, postpartum recovery, all in one. And I just loved it. It's just giving birth is crazy. One of the biggest life-changing moments in a woman's life. So it's so cool to be there and support them. And then, of course, hanging out with these sweet babies and teaching these families how to care for them and being there, again, in a very vulnerable spot in their life where it's like they're sleep deprived. This is maybe their first baby and they don't really know what's going on. And just being able to give them that education and reassurance that they're doing good and they're going to be good parents and kind of preparing them to go out into the world with this sweet little miracle is just the best. So I knew I wanted to do something in the OB world. I did my practicum on labor and delivery and I loved that. So
awesome.
I used to work in float pool when I got out of nursing school. And I kind of kept my eyes open for other positions opening as mom baby or labor and delivery. And so I applied to a couple of each and then I finally got mom baby and it's just been the best thing ever. I go to work and I'm like, yay.
Oh, how long were you in float pool then?
It was like a year and 3 months.
Okay. So if you don't mind, because you're obviously very passionate about OB and women's health and everything that we do. But so you have this, I don't know, I guess, this interim period where you're not necessarily doing what you want to do. So I can already hear like nursing students and other people listening going, okay, how do you go through that? Like you already said earlier, you try and find like the little bits of the positive in whatever. Like, I'm not trying to make it out that this was just the worst experience ever and you had to survive, but like what, just like lead us through that. How do you go through something that's not your favorite thing to start off with?
Yeah. So I ended up picking float pool because, I knew I wanted to do mom baby and stuff. And actually, one of my preceptors when I was in practicum had been in float pool before she went to labor and delivery. So it's like, that kind of like planted a seed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a day shift position. And I didn't feel really passionate about any of the other floors per se in the hospital. So I was like, I might as well do them all. So I did float pool, and it was good. Like, of course, it wasn't ideally what I wanted, but
Yeah.
it was my first nursing job. And so it was a big learning curve, definitely, just being a new nurse and then like kind of having to orient, because in Sacred Heart there are 8 different floors.
Yeah.
And they're split in half. So there were a bunch of different floors I would go to, and I'd have to orient to kind of each of those and kind of know what to do on every floor. So that was crazy. And you could be floated. You could work 4 hours and be floated to a different floor after 4, or work 8 and then float for the last 4. So it made me really flexible. But it was good. I feel like it really gave me a good foundation of, being like, go with the flow. Like, okay, I can get through this. It also really instilled in me, like, ask questions. Like, if you're unsure of anything, like, ask questions.
Yeah.
For the safety of your patients, of course, and just to gain more knowledge. Because every floor was different. So I'd be like, and so it just really helped build a foundation for me. And I feel like it also helped me think critically, which has poured into mom baby now, because we do have some more critical patients. So it's like there's a little something just clicks, and I'm like, wait, it connects to when I did med surg stuff. And sometimes that'll greatly benefit our patient, or they'll identify something because I had a past experience. And float pool wasn't terrible. Some days were bad, of course, but other days were lovely. Like, it's just, nursing in general is the sweetest profession, because you get to meet and connect with these people who otherwise you'd probably never meet in your life, So I just remember having some of the sweetest patients who are like, 80 or 90, and I would just ask them about their life, like, some of them were veterans, some of them just had these crazy pasts, and I'm like, I want to know what you went through. And then some of them were just the sweetest, and they'd be like, can I adopt you as my granddaughter? Like, can you be my granddaughter? And I'm like, yes. It's so sweet, and so sweet thinking of me as a 22-year-old new grad nurse caring for these people who have so much wisdom. It was just so awesome. So I loved it. I know there were some days that were not glorious, but it was really good experience, and I'm glad I did it. And now working in mom baby, it's just perspective. Like, even on crazy days, I'm like, okay, like, this is still good. This is what I wanted. This is what I prayed for, all the things. So I'm like, good perspective for sure.
For sure, and especially on those shifts. So but wait a second, mom baby, you mean we don't just get to like hold and feed babies and that's it?
That would be the dream.
That would be, wouldn't it? I'll never forget, and I've mentioned it on occasion on the podcast, but my wife, it was like, I don't know, 2-3 shifts in, and she's like, so what's it like holding all the babies? And my response to her was, I don't know. You have to ask the moms and dads, because we're too busy. Because we got too much going on. And I love that you just kind of pick up, I just envision you picking up all these honorary grandparents along the way.
Yes, I know. I've got a collection.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, I mean, like, okay, so then let's dial it back a little bit. I know we're doing things a little bit out of order, but of course, that's nursing fun. School, right? Like, you just mentioned nursing school and kind of, setting you on this path eventually to the OB world. But talk to us about your nursing school experience. Like, what did you love most about it?
Honestly, looking back, I know in the moment it was more tough, but I'm like, I love nursing school. Like, it was so fun. It was like a new city for me here in Spokane. And it was kind of the tail end of COVID is when I had it. So we didn't have any in-person classes our first semester, which was tricky. But I lived with a couple girls who were in my cohort. So I kind of got to build relationships with them, relationships with people who were in my clinical group, because those were the only people in our cohort that we saw. So that was kind of special. And I just remember, learning a lot, like a lot. Like our prereqs never fully like set us up for like, pharmacology and like, patho and everything
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, it was, yeah, I knew the anatomy and physiology, but this is just totally different.
Yeah.
But it was good. And I feel super lucky, especially after talking to some people who I know from different areas who went to school in different areas. Their clinical experience wasn't as good as mine, I guess. Like I talked to some people who went to school down in Oregon and they didn't get a children or OB clinical at all. They just had med surg. So I
Because
feel
of
really blessed
COVID.
for that. Yeah, and just their schools, they don't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, which was interesting. Yeah, they just learn about it. They don't actually get to do the clinical experience. So I feel super blessed that I kind of got to dabble in all the different areas.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I remember the first year of nursing school kind of being the hardest. And then the second year, you kind of are like, gain some confidence and you're like, okay, I kind of know what's going on. And then, again, at WSU, the last year is OB, peds, and then like your final semester psych and community health and stuff. So I was like, let's go. This is my favorite. Like,
and ending with a bang, as it were.
Yes. And then practicum being the last thing I did in labor and delivery. So I was like, this is epic. I loved it.
Wow. You mentioned that first year was kind of challenging. Like, I mean, to the audience members, I'm sure this is an obvious question, but what for you made it the most challenging? Like, why was the first year so rough?
I just feel like, and this is also kind of one of the words that I said for nursing school, it's like foreign. It's totally foreign. You like, all the information is new and you're trying to like learn and retain and also apply and see it happen in your clinicals. And it's like being in a hospital, usually for the first time, kind of, or maybe you've been a few times before. It's just different in navigating all of that. And like, kind of like we were saying with this podcast, feed our young, don't eat our young. But some nurses that you're paired with in nursing school are like, ugh, I don't want a student today. And you're like, okay, like,
Yay!
Yeah, I'm going to try to make you like me by the end of the day. I'm going to show you that I'm smart and can be helpful. But yeah, it was just challenging in kind of every way. You're learning, it's a lot, got a lot of classes going on with a lot of material. And then, yeah, being in a new city, trying to make new friends because it's not the friends you had back at, well, for me, in Pullman and stuff like that. So it was all just kind of challenging, but a good challenge. It ended up being awesome.
Yes. And I love that you bring that up because that's what I love telling my students. Like, and this is key, you guys. Like, and you're adding a layer to it that I didn't think about. But what I've always said and maintained is that when you're in nursing school, you are literally learning another language. Like it is like and it's immersion. It's like being dropped off in the middle of a foreign country whose language you don't speak. And all of a sudden you are now trying to navigate how to just do daily functions, let alone, there's a reason why in Spanish, right, one of the first things you learn, ¿Dónde está el baño? Like, you gotta learn where to go to the bathroom. But, it's those things that you take for granted when you are comfortable in your society and in what you do, and then you're dropped in the middle of this new world. And the layer you added for me, Allie, is it's more than that. It's you just take a moment and think about all the new sights, all the new sounds. Yeah, there's the overwhelming alarm bells going off, you know what I mean? Monitors and pumps and everything else. And that is just like all of this together. Anybody wonder why you're stressed out in nursing school to start with, or, through the whole thing? Like, it's just crazy. So I appreciate you bringing that perspective to that. Since we're kind of in the murky waters just a little bit at this moment, there is another question you wanted me to ask you, and maybe you've touched on it both professionally and personally. I don't, again, not knowing your answers, but what challenges have you faced, Allie? Because you seem like a very positive person. So what challenges have you faced, and how do you navigate through these challenges in life?
So I feel like professionally, my biggest challenges probably were in flow pool, and it was like, dealing with difficult patients, but specifically was when I had my first patient die. And when I had a few others that followed, it's like, it's a really crazy experience because you're grieving somebody and it's a human life. And so it's heavy, but you also have 2 or 3 other patients that you have to, be sharp and ready to care for. So it's really tricky to grieve and give this person the right amount of honor, and take time for them to process. And then also be there for your other patients. Like, I remember, yeah, the first patient I ever had who passed away, it was just heartbreaking. I'm like, oh my gosh. I wanted to just, sit there and honestly cry because I'm like, oh, this is heartbreaking. It's like nothing I've never experienced seeing somebody pass like that. But then I had a zillion other things to do in my other room, and it just felt like I was out of my body looking at myself do all the other things, but mentally I wasn't fully present there. And then I just remember going to my lunch break and being like, oh my gosh, what just happened? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to fully put it into words. It's an experience that I don't feel like people should experience, but you have to, and you have to continue like working for your other patients. So I just felt like that was like hard. And then it happened a couple more times when I was on float pool, but I feel like just like being able to like sit and process it when I get home and like talk to my friends or my family and like kind of debrief and like have healthy coping mechanisms to kind of work through that grief and that just weirdness that you feel in not stopping and honoring and pausing everything to honor this person's life. So I feel like that's been the biggest challenge. And then of course there's like social situations with humans come social situations. So just trying to be able to maneuver through that and just have confidence and be really honest with them, but also in a loving way, I think is really important.
Yeah, no, you're very, very well said. And there's a couple things popping into my mind as you're talking about all these things, because I just thank you for being candid about, you know what I mean, your experience with that and kind of opening that door, because it's a part of nursing that, I mean, maybe some people fear going into it, hopefully I don't ever have to deal with that, or, I don't know. And others know that it's going to be something that maybe they have to deal with. And then there's a select few that experience it in nursing school. I've talked with some, and I don't care what stage of nursing you're in when that sort of thing happens. You're taking me back, Allie, to a couple of the patients that I would care for in peds-onc who I was their nurse when they died. And sorry, it's been a lot of years, but even still, like, it just you carry a bit of them with you for the rest of your career.
Totally. And like I remember their names. I remember what they look like what rooms they were in. They're just like, they definitely are carried with you.
You never forget them. And what I loved about our unit was, I worked nights at the time, and I'll never forget, because our charges, whoever was, at the time it was A&Ms who were almost always charge, and the A&Ms that were on were very good about, hey, for whoever took care of someone who had passed, whatever you need. Do you need to go walk? Do you need to go? We have some sacred spaces at Sacred Heart, which are wonderful places to go and just be alone and to pray and to cry and to whatever, and to, like you said, kind of try and process what happened. But you still have a shift you have to get back to. And that's the surreal part of it is, do you have is there even such a thing as practical advice on, if you experience this in your career, how do you go about finishing the rest of your job, that shift?
Honestly, like, this is probably not the best advice, but I would say, like, you kind of have to dissociate, honestly. Like, tuck it away and continue your shift and then revisit after. And really, like, think on it. And like I was saying, kind of talk with those close to you who can just listen so you can get it out instead of just holding it in. And yeah, I feel like my faith is also kind of helped me with that, there's a bigger and better plan for all these people. So
Yeah.
it's reassuring.
Yeah. Ah. Oh, Allie, thank you, thank you. I love that, and I guess I wouldn't be doing the subject disservice if I didn't mention that there are also, wherever you're working, your facility, your whether it's a hospital or whatever the case may be, tap into whatever resources they provide as well, because I know that our organization does a really good job of that, especially if
Yeah,
it's something that
totally.
like happens suddenly. Then there's a lot of opportunities to, hopefully there's an opportunity to debrief what
Mm-hmm.
went down, whether it was the code or, you know what I mean, like I don't know, but and like you said, tapping into those loved ones that are around you, your support, and that includes also those your people at work, whoever your
Yep.
people are, and especially those that maybe have walked that road before you. Like, hey, how do I deal with this feeling that's coming up? And it's not something that just goes away. But you're absolutely right, Allie. I think in the moment, like the way I envision is compartmentalizing, right? Like you kind
Yeah,
of tuck it away in a
totally.
box. You recognize that. Here, let me caution too. What you don't want to do is tuck that away in a box and then leave that box closed in the corner of your heart,
No.
because it will open again later if you don't open it
Yeah,
yourself. And
totally.
usually it's a lot
Like
worse. So.
Pandora's box, if that happens.
Yes, yes, so much worse than it could be. So, Allie, I thank you for like sharing that bit. Like, this is what helps. Like, I don't know. To me, that's what makes you kind of an inspiring person. You know what I mean? Is that you still don't shy away from the challenges that come up in life. I didn't know that you had this experience, and just knowing that, like, and knowing who you are, it's like reconciling those two things. I'm like, oh, it fits. Like, I see how she gets through this sort of thing. So, I mean, being the inspiring person that you are, I have to ask, because this is one of the questions that you wanted me to ask you, but who then or what inspires you in life?
Yeah. I think my biggest inspiration in life is my grandma.
Mm.
She was just the most kind, loving, sacrificial woman. Like, I don't think I ever saw her angry, even when me and my brother were being so annoying and fighting with each other or whatever. She's so graceful and everything she did. And now that I'm an adult and looking back, I can just see all these times where she was just kind of moving in the background, just so like everything was perfect for us kind of kids. And like
Yeah.
every time we went to her house, it was just, the most fun. And it was just so sweet. So she inspires me to be kind and loving and all the things and try to carry myself with grace.
Oh, I love that. And what is it about grandmas in particular? And no offense to the grandpas out there. We have some amazing grandpas, all the things. I loved my grandpa very much, but my grandma was like no one else. Like, these words
Yeah.
that you're describing are basically her. And it's like,
Yeah.
what is up with grandmas that they can just be that way?
Yeah. I feel like they've been moms, they've been through it, and they have so much wisdom. And now they're just like, okay, I don't totally have to parent these kids, but I get to love them and do all the fun things with them.
Yes, that's the bit of it, because you don't have maybe the stress that speaking from a parent, I can't speak as a
Yeah.
grandparent yet, but like the stresses and the worries you always have in the back of your mind for your own kids. And it's like, oh, wow, you can love like family members and then not have to deal with that bit of it, because
Yeah.
your children will hopefully be dealing with it. So,
Yeah. Totally.
oh, that's awesome. So, and let me ask you then. So, before we close in our traditional manner, and this is just kind of
Yeah.
come into my heart and mind here, but you've mentioned faith more than once, and it sounds like it's very much a part of who you are and your life. So, did your grandma have a part to play in that, or where does that come into play?
She did, definitely. I also just I grew up going to a Catholic school,
Hmm.
um, kindergarten through fifth grade. I'm not Catholic, I'm
Hmm.
Christian, but
Hmm.
um, it definitely instilled good morals and just kind of that base. And
Hmm.
then I feel like I kind of had it sprinkled throughout growing up, middle school, high school, and then I've come back even stronger into my faith, especially in nursing and dealing with hard things and other hard things
Yeah.
in life. It's just also, I feel like, for me at least, kind of knowing and understanding the body. I'm like, oh my gosh, there has to be a creator. There has to be. All these things are so intricate, and there's no way that all these things just work perfectly just, by happenstance. So it really doubles down for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just in a career where you're seeing like brokenness and like hardship, it's for me so important to be like, okay, there's a bigger plan at place. Things are happening, and all you can do is love and show God's love through the work you do. And I'll like
Yeah.
every time before shift, I'll like say a little prayer. I'm like, God, use me in the way that my patients need me today. Like, just like
Oh,
bless my presence on these people and yeah, show your love through me, which I feel like gives me confidence going into a shift.
I love that, and I think I'll add my 2 cents worth to this too, because over my career, even my career's been long enough that there've been varying levels to my faith. You know what I mean, as far as that goes, and being closer to God, and then feeling much farther away from God, and going through stuff and all the things. But that's the story of anyone's life, I know. But, there are some shifts that I legitimately, you know what I mean? You don't want to float to this one place. And it's the one place that makes you, I don't know, whatever. Or, dear God, don't give me this type of patient today. I don't have the patience for it. And yet, then you get, it's those shifts where you're feeling that way. And then you end up with someone that is challenging or perceived as the least favorite type of patient to have.
Yeah.
That I find that, like, that's where the greatest growth and the greatest, like, shifts that I've had have come to play, right? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I see why I had to go into work today. I see why I had to take care of so-and-so today. So, we could talk about this forever. Okay.
I know.
So, Allie, then, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure you shared before we close in our traditional manner?
I don't think so. I think we covered all the bases.
I love it. I think we did too. Amazing. Well, then, I know you've kind of touched on the whys, but what were the 3 words you chose? And again, why did you pick them?
Yes. So I chose foreign. And again, kind of like we were saying, just new everything, new information, new situations, new skills, new place, new like connections and relationships that you're making and developing. And like anywhere in life when there's something new, it's like challenging, and then when it's like 7 different things that are new, you're like, overwhelmed.
Which one do I focus on right now?
Exactly. And then I said challenging, which kind of feeds right into that. You're learning new things. You feel like you're a fish out of water. You're like, how do I do this? But then you kind of get your confidence and your feet under you and you figure it out. And then I said fun because, when I think back on nursing school, I'm like, I had so much fun. Like, I loved it. Like, I got to meet new people. I got to learn new things. I get to take these little bits and pieces of knowledge that I learned about nursing and just about life, and I just get to take it into my life. And I just I think back and I had so much fun building relationships through, honestly, like, trauma bonding a little bit with the people you're going through it with, and then being able to have fun outside of nursing school with them and just continue to build like a little different angle of relationship with those people. So I loved it, and I would totally just soak in all the bits of nursing school where for me at least, I didn't have a job during that time. So it was like
nice
doing nursing school and then hanging out with my friends and, and having weekends off and stuff like that. Because, of course, when you're a nurse, you have random days off, but it's nice to have shorter days and all weekends off. So I would just soak it up.
Nice. Well, then that, normally this is the closing part. I don't ask extra questions, but it does make me wonder. Obviously, you didn't have to work, you just said, but how did you balance the rigors of nursing school with being able to disconnect and having those moments of fun?
Well, I feel like I thrive under pressure, truly. So I would have fun and then I'd come home at night and I would study, or like 4 days leading up to a test, I would be like, okay, it's time to lock down and really absorb this information and learn it. So I would never be too strict on myself. Like, you can't go do this, you can't do that. Because I feel like without balance, it's like torment,
Yeah.
So I just would say it's like your life, experience life and have fun in life. And then also learn and be a good nurse, but you don't have to just subject yourself to just your textbook all day, every day.
Yes.
It's like, in order to take care of others and learn to take care of others, you got to take care of yourself. So have fun.
You heard it here first from someone who is a model of success when it comes to that, you guys. So don't, all the perfectionists out there, kill that as soon as you can. All right. So Allie, you have one piece of advice to give to those who are listening, the one thing you want them to walk away from your episode knowing and carrying in their heart forever, no pressure. Yes. What is that one thing?
So my one piece of advice would be to ask questions when you're unsure, because we are taking care of people's lives, which is precious. So make sure that what you're doing is right, but also have confidence in yourself and trust yourself and your knowledge and your skills, because you are smart and you do know what you're doing. And even when you feel overwhelmed, like, you studied and hours and hours and hours and you really worked for this and you do know what you're doing. So trust yourself.
Yes. Oh, and I love how those two fit hand in hand.
Yep.
Allie, thank you so much for giving time out of your, what is turning out to be a very beautiful sunny day, which is rare for us right now, recording in February.
Yes.
So I'll let you get to it, but thank you so much, Allie. Greatly appreciate you taking time.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you.
Good to see you, friend. I'll see you probably in the next few days.
Yes. Yay.
Here's what's happening on the next episode of Feeding Our Young.
And unfortunately, in nursing school, you don't really get a ton of free time. I mean, or like for fun, extra things. I do think it's really important in nursing school to take a day every once in a while to go out with your friends or do whatever you want with your friends. That's is putting your stress aside for a second. I think that's super important. And at work, I was focused on work and not school. So that was a good little break. But yeah, I did have some trips and stuff I didn't get to go on, fun trips, but it's because I was making a sacrifice for something I really wanted in the beginning. And obviously now I've gotten to go to Hawaii multiple times and all the different places now that I'm not in nursing school, and I make my big girl money now and all the things. So, but yeah, and I did too after nursing school. I had to work in med-surg. It was the medical oncology floor before. It was about a year before I came to our work now. And that was rough because the nursing was good. I learned so much and I am very grateful I had that job now. But it was so sad for me in the moment because I was this isn't what I want to do. I knew in nursing school I wanted to do some OB, labor delivery or mom baby. But it was very rough in the beginning for me because I was this is not what I want to do. But sometimes you do have to make a sacrifice and do something you don't want to do to get to where you need to be.
Did you like today's episode of Feeding Our Young? Want to know more about the Feeding Our Young movement? Check out our website at feedingouryoung.org. Would you like to be featured on a future episode? Maybe have Eric bring his unique brand of encouragement to your nursing students or nurses? Please text us at 509-666-5636 or email us at info@feedingouryoung.org. We're so excited to have you return to hear our next honored guest. Be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Feeding Our Young LLC. Again, that's username Feeding Our Young LLC. Until next time, be encouraged and go find someone to encourage today.